Carlos Alcaraz drives social media crazy with the image of his house after Spain's victory. Spain secured a spot in the Davis Cup semifinals after beating the Czech Republic in the semifinals. While waiting for their next opponent, which will come from the tie between Argentina and Germany, the national team celebrates a hugely important victory, even more so considering they couldn't count on Spain's biggest star. Carlos Alcaraz missed the tie due to an ischial edema, but he didn't miss a single detail of what happened in the match from his home. Shortly after the end of the last match, he posted an image on his social media congratulating his teammates. The Mercian watched the match from his sofa, as can be seen in the photo with the television in the background and a handful of trophies on the upper shelves that have caused a great stir online. In that image, you can see titles of great global relevance that Alcaraz already owns and that are displayed in one of the most prized places in the family home of the Spanish tennis player. "Let's go," wrote Carlos on his social media alongside the photo and the Spanish flag. Social media goes crazy over Carlos Alcaraz. His followers were quick to respond enthusiastically to Alcaraz's photo with messages such as the following. "Putting a US Open trophy and a Wimbledon trophy on top of a cabinet like they're a vase from Leroy Merlin, that's Carlos. The fact that he has the trophies on top of the furniture like someone who keeps their school diplomas has me crying." The ATP award for which Carlos Alcaraz has once again been nominated, with no trace of Jannik Sinner or Novak Djokovic among the possible winners. Carlos Alcaraz has once again been nominated for the Stefan Edberg Sportsmanship Award for 2025 by the ATP in their prestigious awards. The Spaniard, who already won it in 2023, shares the honor with Felix Auger-Aliassime, Grigor Dimitrov, last year's winner, and Casper Ruud. Italian Jannik Sinner and Serbian Novak Djokovic are not on this list. With the season coming to an end, only the Davis Cup finals remaining and no more individual tournaments to play, the ATP has announced the nominees for its ATP Awards 2025. Among the different categories, Carlos Alcaraz appears on the list of potential winners of the Stefan Edberg Sportsmanship Award, a recognition he already received in 2023. He shares the lineup with Bulgarian Grigor Dimitrov, last year's winner, Norwegian Casper Ruud, who won it in 2022, and Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime. A group in which other notable players such as Novak Djokovic or Jannik Sinner are not included. The Serbian's outbursts and moments of anger are frequent, so it's not too surprising, though the absence of the Italian, usually very composed and respectful, might raise some eyebrows. In the coaches category, Spaniards are also present. These are Carlos Alcaraz's coaches, Juan Carlos Ferrero, who won it in 2022, and Samuel Lopez, appearing for the first time. Their competitors are the coaches of Jannik Sinner, Darren Cahill and Simone Vagnozzi, Valentin Vaquero's coach, Benjamin Valleret, Felix Auger-Aliassime's coach, Frederick Fontang, and Ben Shelton's coach, his father Brian Shelton. Carlos Alcaraz reveals one of the saddest defeats of his career with Rafa Nadal. "I was really down after the match." Carlos Alcaraz will not play the Davis Cup after confirming this Tuesday that he suffers from a muscle edema that prevents him from taking the court this Thursday. Nevertheless, the Mercian, now focused on recovery, looked back on some of the most difficult moments of his career and spoke about his rivalry with Jannik Sinner in an interview with Marca. Just over a year ago, Rafa Nadal announced he was leaving professional tennis. He was able to play several matches both against Alcaraz and alongside him, as a doubles pair representing Spain. Alcaraz and Marcel Granollers lost to the Dutch pair in 2 sets in last year's Davis Cup, marking Nadal's farewell to tennis. "It was very tough and sad at the same time. I won my point in singles, but I also played the doubles, and I feel responsible for not being able to advance. It was a very difficult moment," Alcaraz explains in the interview. However, Juan Carlos Ferrero's pupil points out that the defeat at the Paris Olympics alongside Nadal was even worse. "Losing the doubles at the Paris Olympics with him was harder than the Davis Cup. I was very down after the match." Carlitos, who lost the ATP Finals final against Sinner, also spoke about his rivalry with the Italian and whether Sinner is obsessed with him. "I think both of us. He has lost 2 or 3 matches these last 2 years and the vast majority were against me. Jannik needs to look and think about what he has to improve to beat the player he hasn't been able to beat more often," he explains. "On the other hand, I have lost to more players, but my mindset is to try to improve and do things so that the next time we face each other, I am a much better player," he concludes. Regarding his defeat in Malaga during Nadal's official farewell, he confessed, "It was very tough and sad at the same time. I won my singles point, but I also played the doubles, and I feel responsible for not being able to advance. It was a very difficult moment. But losing the doubles at the Paris Olympics with him was harder than the Davis Cup." He added, "Yes, without a doubt. I was very down after the match. With 6 Grand Slams at age 22, Alcaraz rejected any comparison with Nadal, Federer, or Djokovic. I'm still nowhere near. Not even close. The tennis player also spoke about his life off the court and the impact of fame. The best thing is that it opens a lot of doors to meet idols, important people, to visit places you would never be able to go. The bad thing is that you can't be as calm as you'd like. I'm a very natural and close person, and taking a walk feels like something very normal, but I can't do it without someone stopping me, recognizing me, or feeling watched. I think that's the worst part of fame. Carlos Alcaraz is living the best moment of his career. With 6 Grand Slam titles and the responsibility of leading a new generation, the Merchant shared in an interview with Marca his vision of modern tennis, his relationship with Jannik Sinner, his Davis Cup memories, and how he handles pressure. Asked whether a generational shift has already arrived in tennis after dominating the big tournaments alongside Sinner in recent years, the world number one was clear: well, Djokovic is still playing. Years go by, but Djokovic is still there. He's number 4 in the world and has made the semifinals in every Grand Slam. He has the level and motivation, his body allows it, to keep competing at the highest level. It's true that in recent years, both Jannik and I have been more present there, along with others. But mainly the two of us. It may be that we are moving into another generation. Regarding his rivalry with the Italian, and Nicolas Mahut's claim that Sinner is obsessed with him, the Spaniard downplayed it. I think both of us. He has lost 2 or 3 matches these last 2 years, and most were against me. Jannik needs to look and think about what he must improve to beat the player he hasn't been able to beat more often. It's logical and normal. I have lost to more players, but my mindset is to improve and to make sure that next time we face each other, I am a much better player. When asked about the last time he cried because of tennis, Alcaraz admitted it was after the Miami tournament. It was in Miami, yes, in Miami. The Merchant also explained how he works on the mental side with his psychologist, Isabel Balaguer. I talk less and less. It's a relationship where Juanqui and Samu talk a lot with her to give instructions so that they can then give them to me on the court. I talk with her when I feel the need to vent and speak with someone. Luckily, since Miami, I haven't felt that need because everything has gone very well. And I have felt good both on and off the court. Alcaraz recalled his first contact with the Davis Cup. The only time I could watch the Davis Cup live was in Valencia, a Spain-Germany tie. It's the only time I went as a spectator, with David Ferrer's historic match against Kohlschreiber. It was an incredible moment. About his coach, Juan Carlos Ferrero, he explained that Ferrero has shared memories of the legendary 2000 triumph at the Palau Sant Jordi. Sometimes he has told me about the feeling he had, the behind-the-scenes aspects. He always tells me it was a moment that probably changed everything. Asked whether he feels the Davis Cup owes him something, Alcaraz responded, I don't know if the Davis Cup owes me anything, but what I'm sure of is that sooner or later the moment will come. I prefer sooner rather than later, but someday it will happen. Alcaraz and Sinner respond and clarify their relationship. The 2 best tennis players in the world analyze their relationship and their personal seasons in a joint interview. Tennis players Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner took part in a joint conversation for CNN Sports, led by Amanda Davis, in which they shared reflections about their relationship on and off the court in the context of the 2025 NITO ATP Finals. In this exclusive interview, both stated, off the court, we forget about the rivalry. During the conversation, Alcaraz joked about how often he sees Sinner, more than my mother. Both highlighted that while on the court they compete fiercely for titles and the world number 1 ranking. Off it, their relationship is built on respect and camaraderie. Sinner said, when you train together, you see each other in the locker room, so it's natural that you get to know each other more and more. The interview video shows relaxed moments, jokes, personal comments, and tactical insights, the reality of their rivalry as the best 2 players in the circuit. However, Alcaraz himself clarifies, the word rivalry stays on the professional side. For example, in 2025 Alcaraz and Sinner have faced each other repeatedly in Grand Slam finals and Masters tournaments. This year, Alcaraz won the US Open and Roland Garros against Sinner, just as the Italian beat the Spaniard at Wimbledon. The fact that they train together, see each other on the circuit both as rivals and as companions in parallel events, and have met in multiple finals reinforces Alcaraz's joke about seeing Sinner more than his mother. And that, according to the Spaniard, never bothers me. Alcaraz's best year. It's been my best year without a doubt, admitted the Merchant. Beyond the tennis itself, this interview showcases the generational change and the way the new leaders of the circuit cope with media and competitive pressure. Both players represent different styles but share youth, ambition, and mutual respect, making their rivalry a symbol of this new era in world tennis. Carlos Alcaraz speaks like never before about Sinner. Is Jannik obsessed with him? The world number one explained that his great rival has to see and think about what he has to improve to beat the player he hasn't been able to beat more times. After the Paris Masters 1000, where Carlos Alcaraz suffered a stunning defeat in his debut against Cameron Norrie, the legendary Nicolas Mahut said that Jannik Sinner is a bit obsessed with immersion. Alcaraz was asked about this statement by the now retired Frenchman in an interview with Marca, and he showed his most sincere side. I think both of us. He has lost 2 or 3 matches these last couple of years and most of them were against me, he began. That's why he understands his rival's feelings. Jannik needs to look and think about what he has to improve to beat the player he has not been able to beat more times. It's logical and normal. Alcaraz acknowledges that his own case is different, as he is less consistent than the Italian, but he also keeps the rivalry with Sinner in mind. I have lost to more players, but my thinking is to try to improve and do things so that the next time we face each other, I am a much better player, he concluded.